Welcome into the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Hope you guys had a wonderful night watching another NBA team who didn't really go through a process with a championship. So, hey, that's fun. Oh, and I also hope you guys enjoyed the Phillies losing Game 1 to Diamondbacks in the fashion in which they did. And the talk of the day yesterday was the fact that Bradley Beal, because Bill Simmons of The Ringer, and we'll get to the quote, feels that the odds-on favorite, and it's not even close, for Bradley Beal, where he's going to land next year, is going to be the 76ers. So that starts a great debate locally in the Delaware Valley here about the Sixers' chances of possibly ridding themselves of the Tobias Harris deal in order to take on 3 more years of a Bradley Beal deal, 4 more years of a Bradley Beal deal. So there's a lot to discuss, a lot to unpack, a lot to get into. And the Phillies' loss last night was drama-filled. We can call it that. But bottom line was, it was a loss. We'll get to all that and more on today's program. Once again, this is the Farzy Show. My name is Mark Farzetta, and this is brought to you by the wonderful Steven Singer, Steven Singer Jewelers. Let me just start off. I can't go baseball just yet. But the Denver Nuggets finished off the Miami Heat last night in the NBA Finals. For Denver, it's their first NBA championship. Congratulations to Denver. Jamal Murray was incredible in the series. Nikola Jokic was just unbelievable in this series. And I was rooting for Jimmy Butler, of course. I didn't think that the Heat were going to win the series. I didn't think they'd go down quite like this. They certainly fought hard in the final, the opening of the game when they took advantage of 10 turnovers by the Denver Nuggets. And then in the second half, they continued to fight, even though Denver took control of the game. I was still there for Jimmy Butler, thinking Jimmy Butler do Jimmy Butler things. Hit a 3, drew a foul on a 3-point attempt. I think it was Gordon had his feet under Jimmy Butler. But he fought. He kept on doing what Jimmy Butler does, man, which is just fight. And I love watching the guy play. And last night was unfortunate for Jimmy Butler, of course, in the Miami Heat, and anybody who still loves Jimmy Butler from his time here in Philadelphia. But watching the Denver Nuggets celebrate last night, it's one of those things, like, it's not nearly as dramatic as the player that goes out there who just loses the series, just loses a championship, loses a Super Bowl, and he just sits out there and he watches the other team celebrate because he wants that taste in his mouth. He wants to know what it looks like so that he wants it more. And I love that. I do love that attitude. But from just a guy sitting on a sofa, watching the end of a game, watching it play out, after I watched the Phillies, went back and watched, of course, the NBA Finals. So I didn't really sleep last night. But anyway, I'm watching this game play out last night, and I'm watching the end, and all that's on my mind is a team that wasn't the Sixers won a championship. And we went through the pain and suffering of the process years, and it just emphasizes even more of what a failure the process was. And that stings, and that hurts. And then I go through the stages of grief in a very abrupt manner, and I think to myself, okay, well, you know what? All right, that Joel Embiid guy, he saw Nikola Jokic win those MVPs as a center, and oh my goodness gracious, what do you know? It could be done. A center could win the MVP award again. And now the last 3 MVPs, 2 of them being Joker, the most latest, you understand. The latest, Joel Embiid was one as well. So this is the way I look at it. Joel Embiid, you wanted those MVP trophies? You wanted an MVP trophy? At least you got that. No, now get that Larry O'Brien trophy. Now go get that Larry O'Brien trophy now. And I understand that a lot of people will laugh at that. And, Joel Embiid doesn't have any heart. Joel Embiid disappears in the playoffs. Joel Embiid was smoochy face with Jason Tatum after they got bounced out in Game 7 against Celtics. And I agree with the smoochy face thing. That thing really pissed me off. I agree that he certainly disappeared in that game as well. The killer mentality aspect of all this. Nobody should need PJ Tucker in their ear telling me I should get motivated, I should get up, I should get pumped up and dig down deep in myself and find the best version of my brand of basketball and go out there and dominate. Yeah, I would love for that to be the case with Joel Embiid. Maybe this is it. I'm somebody who is just grasping at straws for any sense of optimism going into the next season, because I don't think James Harden is going to be back. And as much as I love Tyrese Maxey and want to see this team grow with Maxey and Embiid for this upcoming season, and as much as I want to see that, I don't think that that's going to bear fruit for a championship. So we're still going to be going through the championship drought. And then, oh my goodness gracious, next thing you know, Joel Embiid's going to be 31. And an old 31, too. Not like a great 31, but like a bad 31. So I feel like we were right back where we started before the process. Yeah, there's more excitement in that the fact that you have an MVP and the regular season is going to be fun. And I honestly don't give a damn about the regular season anymore. In terms of actual excitement. Like, I enjoy watching basketball, and I enjoy watching the Sixers and watching them win. So by that standpoint, yes, it'll be enjoyable. But it'll all still feel like it's a dull, it'll feel like a butter knife as opposed to a dagger. That's what it's going to feel like. It's going to feel like, this is all right, this is okay. It's not going to be the same piercing excitement we can see in the playoffs, because we're going to have to wait to see what type of team we're going to have in the playoffs again. We have to wait to see what type of team we're going to have even when the season starts. But watching the Nuggets last night celebrate, and watching them, of course, play against Jimmy Butler, the one that got away here in Philadelphia. Still, when Jimmy Butler was here, it's the best brand of basketball I've seen from the Sixers team. It makes me go full bore into what could have been a little sports depression, lamenting, melancholy, John Cusack walking in the rain type of feeling. All right. That's where it puts me. And I don't know how they get out of it. And even with this Bradley Beal deal, okay, that we're going to be talking about, what are you getting in Bradley Beal? Are you getting a guy that's going to score 31.5 points per game like he did the year they lost to the Sixers in the first round? Are you going to get a guy that's not really maybe motivated to get back on the hardwood? Who are you getting? What are you getting? What brand of basketball are you getting from Bradley Beal? Because, shooting, that sounds great. 30% shooter from beyond the arc, that doesn't sound great. Scorer, that sounds great. Scorer being available, that doesn't, that's a little worrisome. So who are you getting? And is it worth it? Yes, you're in the final year of Tobias Harris's contract, which obviously makes him more movable. But are you getting a player that's going to be a huge difference maker? A healthy, motivated Bradley Beal, that sounds great. I just don't know if you're going to get that. And that's what bothers me about it. It sounds more attractive than James Harden. He's younger by 3-4 years, which is nice. But I don't know what brand you're going to get from Beal if he does come here to Philadelphia. This is all speculation. This is not a report. This is somebody's opinion. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But that's where I'm at right now when it comes to the basketball world. I wish I could say the baseball world is more optimistic right now. But after last night's game, I had a couple of issues with Rob Thompson. First off, you had a bullpen game. So if I have a bullpen game out there, I'm going to have the best foot forward I can with my lineup. And I put this out there last night on social media, and I talked about it certainly on the Jacob Media postgame show after the Phillies game. But how and what was going on where you thought during a bullpen game you could take 3 starters out of your lineup and have the backups in during a bullpen game? That is like something you do late September when you can't affect your playoff positioning and you just want to get guys some reps and you want to get your regulars some rest. That is ridiculous. When I saw Guthrie at center field, Sosa at third, okay, not that weird, but still, okay, Bohm's back, so Clemens has been great at the first base, so no, okay. Marsh was out. Stott was out. Harrison was in. Harrison actually had a good day. I'm arguing philosophy here. I'm not arguing the result, because the result was the Phillies scored 8 runs with this lineup. The problem wasn't the lineup. So let me just jump to the end with that. But going into the game, it just didn't make any sense to me. And whether it was a 9-8 game or a 2-1 game, it was still a 1-run baseball game. So one hit by anybody at any point could really help you. And you ended up putting Bryson Stott back in the game, or in the game anyway, who got a big hit for you late in the ball game. So I didn't like the philosophy behind three guys getting a day off. And I know Kody Clemens doesn't hit lefties very well. He's a 207 batting average against lefties this year. That's nothing worth bragging about. But his defense at first base has justified it enough for him to be an everyday starter there at first base. Especially if that means Bohm's going to be back in his natural position at third base, and he can hit lefties. And especially if that means that you can have another opportunity to have Brandon Marsh in center field as opposed to Jeremy Guthrie in game one against the Diamondbacks, and you choose not to do that in a bullpen game. The biggest thing here that's been flashing lights to me is bullpen game. You're going to need all hands on deck. If you're essentially punting because you don't have a fifth starter right now, then I need everybody else out there in the diamond. And he chose not to do that. I just thought that was weird. So then, of course, the game starts. Phillies start putting up runs. Phillies built a 5-1 lead. And I'm like, well, I guess the lineup is not going to be the problem tonight. And then just all hell broke loose. And we'll go through most of the play-by-play in a second. But it was a really rough game to watch, especially in that third inning when you build up that 5-1 lead. Then you immediately gave 2 runs back in the bottom of that third inning. And then, of course, in the fourth inning, you allow the game to get tied up. There was drama. The bench is cleared at one point. A manager got ejected. There was a thought to be game-winning or at least game-leading lead grabbing 2-run home run by Kody Clemens at the top of the ninth inning. That was called fair, then foul, and then confirmed foul. Well, we'll get to it all throughout the game. It was a rough one. Just not a good night, man. It just wasn't a good night. It was a fun day of like kicking around ideas with Bradley Beal. I enjoyed that. That's fun. What could be? What could happen? Examine it. But then at night, you're watching the Phillies and you're going, first off, I don't think their best foot is forward with this lineup. And you already know the best foot is not forward when it comes to the bullpen game, which, for the record, once again, I'll state that I hate. And then the idea to keep Matt Strahm in there for as long as you did, I said yesterday, hopefully you get 3 innings out of him, like on the max. Hopefully you get 3 innings out of him. And that turned out to be a bad thing. When he had 20 pitches in the first inning, I was like, he's done. He's not going to, there's no chance he's seeing the third inning. He'll probably still pitch the second because it's, again, a bullpen game. You need a guy like him that can be a long reliever to go as long as possible. And he decides to put him out there again for the third inning. But it was a rough one. And yes, it does put a spoiler on things for JT Realmuto, at least my reaction to JT Realmuto hitting for the cycle last night, which is the first cycle since David Bell in 2004. I was at that David Bell cycle. I was at that game. And I remember constantly checking the scoreboard. Like, I was like, wait a minute, hold a second. He had a walk, and he's still going to hit for the cycle? Like, I would think normally during the cycle, you need every at-bat you could possibly get to try to hit for the cycle. But, of course, if you work a walk in one of those at-bats, you're not getting a double. You're certainly not getting a triple. You're not getting a home run. But JT Realmuto last night also had a walk in a cycle game. First cycle for the Phillies in 18 years, which is pretty 19 years, pretty remarkable. So we will talk about that as well when we really address this game. But last night, looking at Matt Strahm's line, 50 pitches in the ball game for him, surrendering 3 runs, all of them earned on 4 hits. He did issue 1 walk. And then the bullpen, whether it was Marte, Covey, Vasquez, they all gave up runs. The bullpen gave up runs in a bullpen game, which is not how you win bullpen games, obviously. Let's jump into the play-by-play of this game real quick, and just let's all talk ourselves through it. I still am terrified of Evan Longoria. Let me just get that out of the way. He got the Diamondbacks on the board in the first inning with a sac fly RBI to left field. That was a 1-0 game. Then the top of the second inning, JT Realmuto got it right back for you. 1-1 game, the solo home run. Nice to see him get that home run. Then Alec Bohm right after him just was out in front of a changeup by a little bit, a 3-1 changeup just out in front of it a little bit. Hooked it foul, unfortunately, ended up popping out to first base. Harrison ends up getting a double. And then Sosa strikes out and Guthrie lines out to third base. Then you go to the bottom of the second inning. Kelly gets the automatic strike call on him because he wasn't ready to go. Then you get the fly out to center field. Then Perdomo grounds out to the pitcher right off Strahm's ass. Right there, Strahm's ass. Grounds it right off him. He gets the out. McCarthy then hits a triple. Now, let's pause it right here for 1 second, okay? I love Kyle Schwarber. His batting average sucks. His on-base percentage is good. His home runs are awesome. The left field leaves a lot to be desired. In no way, shape, or form should have anyone on this team that is such a leader like Kyle Schwarber. No way he should be lollygagging anything. McCarthy hits that ball out to him down the left field line. Schwarber runs over to it, fields the baseball, gets up slowly, looks up, sips tea, takes a nap, then sips tea, and then realizes that McCarthy is rounding second and he's going to take third. Oh, I better throw it. And he throws it safe. He gets a triple out of it. And he beat it by a mile. And he definitely slowed up around second base and then went, oh, wait, he's not doing anything? Okay. And he took it. He took the bag. So that was just very surprising for me to watch Kyle Schwarber do that. Then in the third inning, Schwarber starts things off by striking out. Check swing, couldn't hold up. Trey Turner gets the walk. Castellanos gets a single. You get first and second with one out. Harper strikes out on 3 sliders. Okay. Then Real Muto goes up there, gets his triple with a 2-run triple there, a 2-0 changeup. He was able to crush into the gap there in left center field. You get 2 more runs on the board. It's now 3-1 Phillies. Bohm gets the RBI double. He gets ahead of a changeup at this time perfectly, just enough. It's now 4-1 ball game, and then you get a 5-1 ball game on Josh Harrison's RBI single, and he gets caught in a rundown between first and second. Pickle. And he gets thrown out in that matter. Then in the third inning, oh, baby, all hell breaks loose. Strom's still in the game for the Phillies, to my surprise. I thought that was interesting. Rivera gets a single to lead things off. Then Carroll gets hit by a pitch. This is the second time in the game that Corbin Carroll got hit by a pitch. Much to the chagrin of Diamondbacks manager Tori Lovullo, he goes out there and he starts fee-fi-fo fumbling his way up the field. He starts talking to Vic Carpazzo at the Carapazzo at the home plate umpire. He starts jawing with JT Realmuto. And JT Realmuto, if you've seen that one, it's not a GIF. It's a clip that's very popular where it's the dad on the front lawn and he's yelling at the kids. And the one big dude goes, "Daddy, chill." And then the one guy goes, "What the hell is even that?" That was kind of what it was like. If you've seen that clip, that's what it was like. So I'm watching it, and Realmuto has a smirk on his face like, dude, you're way overreacting. We're not putting Corbin Carroll, who could, even though he's got a runner ahead of him in this instance, we're not putting him on base to, like, run around the bases. Like, he's blazing fast. Why would we want him on the base paths? So then Lovullo ends up getting thrown out of the game. Another player later in the inning gets thrown out as well. Looked like Matt Strom said something to him when he was running in front of him there as he's running off the field. I don't know. But all hell breaks loose. Bench is clear. Bullpens run next to each other into the game. The whole thing. So the situation after the smoke settled, Walker goes up there and he flies out to center field. That's where another D-back was thrown out of the game. I think it was Kelly ended up getting thrown out of the game. Then second and third with one out. Longoria, at this time, he pops out to Alec Bowman first base in foul territory. Smith steps up there and gets a 2-run single to right field. Then Strom's taken out finally. Marte gets put in. And it wasn't Kelly that got thrown out. Then Kelly ends up grounding out to Marte at the pitcher's mound. So now it's a 5-3 ball game. It's a 2-run ball game at this point. Moving to the fourth inning, Phillies aren't able to do anything there in the fourth inning. And in the bottom of the fourth inning, Marte's still in the game. Perdomo strikes out on the slider. McCarthy then grounds out to third base. Marte gets the double, gets the 0-2 fastball, drives that into the gap. Rivera goes up there, and he gets the RBI single to center field. It's a 5-4 ball game. Carroll, who does not get hit by a pitch this time, he ends up getting the RBI triple. It's a 5-5 ball game. Nothing doing in the fifth. Then you go into that sixth inning. Phillies go down 1-2-3. Oh, what did you? Harrison, Sosa, Guthrie. 1-2-3 in that sixth inning of a tie ball game, 5-5. Then in the bottom of the sixth inning, Covey is in at this point in the game. Dylan Covey is pitching his second inning for the Phils. Got through his first inning in the fifth, no problem. Sixth inning, not so much. McCarthy allows the infield single, a little chopper over his head, some bad luck there. Then Marte with the hit and run on. You have McCarthy going to third. Marte's at first. So you have first and third with nobody out. Mound visit. Didn't do anything. Rivera, sac fly RBI to center field. Covey's now out. Vasquez goes in. Carroll gets another infield hit. This is a chopper over the head of Vasquez this time. You get first and second with one out. Walker steps up, pops out to second. Then when Evan Longoria was walking to the plate, I didn't know if it was going to be a 3-run home run, but I felt like he was going to blow it open with like a 2-run double or something. And he went for the 3-run home run. It's all of a sudden 9-5. To describe the pitch that Vasquez gave him, it was a barrel finder. It was a slider up in the zone a little bit, just hanging up enough. It didn't dive at the plate. He didn't have to go down and get it. He just put a full swing perfectly on that baseball, and boom, gone. Phillies are down 9-5. 7th inning, Phillies show a little bit of life, trying to fight back. Schwarber walks. Turner flies out to center field. Just missed a hanging slider that Evan Longoria belted. He just missed one of those in his at-bat. Castellanos flew out to center. Then Harper gets the RBI double to center field. McCarthy couldn't field it. Just popped out of his mitt. Realmuto then walks up there with the walk. Goes up there, works the walk. Bohm gets the RBI single. 9-6, now 9-7. Harrison works the walk. Bases loaded situation, 2 outs. Bryson Stott pinch hits for Eddie Sosa, and he grounds out to the second baseman. 7th inning, Vasquez still in. Nothing doing there for the Diamondbacks. Phillies have an opportunity there against Austin Adams. The right-handed pitcher comes in. Guthrie actually gets hit by a pitch, so you have a runner on. You have a runner on, folks, a 2-run ball game to lead off the inning. That was all Adams had for the night. He was out. Chafin was in. Schwarber ends up grounding out to or popping out to the catcher on a 3-2 count. Turner ends up grounding out of the comebacker to Chafin. Castellanos goes up there, works a walk, runner on first and second with 2 outs, and Harper strikes out on 5 straight sliders. As I look at my notes, Bryce Harper saw 12 sliders last night. Bryce Harper saw 12 sliders last night. What happened on those sliders? Okay. 2, he took for balls out of the zone. Good job. All right. 1, he fouled away. All right, made some contact. 9, he swung and missed. 9 times out of 12. Whoop. Yep, 9! And he kept doing it. I was amazed he laid off of 2 of them. Laid off of 2 of them from Chafin. It's the only ones he laid off. Everything else, he was, yeah. For the people on the podcast, I just did a wonderful pantomime of me flailing at sliders that I just can't hit. But I'm going to keep swinging at them because why not? That's what that sound is. Wow. All right. Enough craziness. All right. Then bottom of the 9th or top of the 9th inning. By the way, Hoffman came into the 8th inning and went 1-2-3. Beautiful. In case you didn't understand, Harper struck out at the top of the 8th inning with 2 runners on and 2 outs. 9th inning, JT Realmuto sees the second pitch blasted in the left field gap. He gets a double out of it. I thought he could have gotten a triple, but let's go for the cycle. Anyway, JT Realmuto gets a double to lead things off. Alec Bohm grounds out to the shortstop. Harrison pops out to first baseman. Stott goes up there, gets the RBI single. It's now a 9-8 ball game. And Bryson Stott, you beautiful person, you 8 pitch at bat, fouls a couple away, gets a pitch to hit, drives it, gets the RBI single into right field. It's a 1-run ball game. Bryson Stott's on second base after he steals with Kody Clemens at the plate. Kody Clemens jumps on a ball, blasts it over the right field wall. I originally thought it was foul. I went, oh, that's foul. Damn it. Damn it. And then I'm hearing T-Mac on the call. It's like, well, they're calling it fair. And a fair ball, gone. Something like that. Not at all like that, but something like that. And I thought, oh, okay, fair ball. Oh my God, the Phillies are in the lead, 10-9. This is incredible. And then the umpires chose to review it. Now, after the game, Rob Thompson said that originally they called it fair. Then they got together, called it foul, then reviewed the film, confirmed it foul. So the original call was fair. Conference said it was foul. tape review said, oh, it's confirmed. It's a foul ball. When Rob Thompson went out for the explanation, the umpire said he lost it. So he called it fair. He lost it. So he called it fair. Okay. They have to review it, or they chose to review it, and they did. But he gave us all false hope for a minute there. We even got ESPN alerts. You might have even gotten ESPN. Maybe you thought it was too late. Maybe you were watching the NBA Finals. Maybe you were watching the post-game press conference at this time, and you're watching the Phillies, and you're not watching the Phillies anymore because they're terrible. And then you got the alert that Kody Clemens all of a sudden put him ahead with a 2-run home run at the top of the 9th inning. Didn't happen. Ruled a foul ball. Kody Clemens would then strike out on the very next pitch, I believe it was, and the Phillies would lose 9-8. Definitely a rough one for many reasons. One, it wastes JT Realmuto's cycle. It's nice that you now have a cycle, at least, being that it's been since 2004, 19 years. And that you had a 5-1 lead. A 5-1 lead in a bullpen game with, I'll call them 3 non-regulars starting. That's where we're at. Here's Rob Thompson on blowing that lead.
You built that lead against a good team and weren't able to win.
Yeah, I think we did something similar to that last year, too, in the first game here. But, yeah, it's disappointing, but every loss is disappointing. But I really like the fight in our club. We kept coming and coming and coming. And you know, Kody was a couple feet away from taking the lead there. So.
Where he goes on to say that the umpires talked to him afterwards and said, oh, we called it fair originally, and then we got together, that was not fair. But I lost it, so I had to talk to everybody else too. But I called it, I wanted to give you that false hope, but just let you know that you're going to lose. And then, by the way, it's foul. Confirmed. 2 different sources, foul ball. Thanks! I really love watching JT Realmuto. Let me be happy for a second here. I really love watching JT Realmuto play. But when he is struggling, I feel like the whole team struggles. But when he performs, I feel like even more than Bryce Harper, even more than when Kyle Schwarber's going on one of his tears. When JT Realmuto gets hot, like he did in the second half of last year after the trip where everybody else went to Toronto and he didn't, it felt like the team just went on this great run. If this is him putting it back together again, then I think good things are on the horizon there for the Phillies. But seeing him play as well as he did yesterday, with this lineup, with that pitching staff, I think it speaks volumes for this guy realizing the moment that he is in. So I hope this is just the taste of things to come here for JT Realmuto in the rest of the season, because I think he can be a type of guy that can carry the Phillies out of the 5 hole, out of the 6 hole even. And I hope this is him turning the corner at least. As far as that incident in the 3rd inning, Rob Thompson, and he gets asked about it, and he was teammates at some point, I don't know what level, with Tori Lovullo, the head coach or the manager of the Diamondbacks. Here he is on what took place in that 3rd inning and whether or not they were throwing intentionally at Corbin Carroll.
I can understand Tori protecting his guy, but in no way were we trying to put one of the fastest guys in baseball on base with a free pass, basically. That's not me. That's not our club. We wouldn't do that.
What was he so mad at JT about?
I don't know.
So that's JT.
Yeah.
Dad, chill. Daddy, chill. Yeah, he was pissed. He was angry. And when I saw JT Realmuto smirk about it, I was like, oh, this is stupid. What are we even doing? And then JT Realmuto and Vic Carapazzo at home plate after the whole melee was done, after the BS bench clearing, whatever, where everyone just like met at the mound, like our home plate was like, how are you? Good. How are you? The little smirk between Carapazzo and JT Realmuto was hilarious. I basked in that. And then they blew a 5-1 lead, so I didn't bask in it anymore because that sucked. Let me get back to the philosophy for a second here, because, again, you can't argue the result when you score 8 runs and you almost score 10. But to me, Kody Clemens is your first baseman now. He can't hit lefty. All right, fine, he can't hit lefties, but you know what he can do? He can flash some leather at first base. I like him at first base more than I like Alec Bohm, and I like Alec Bohm at third more than I like Edmundo Sosa. This wasn't a game to be like, well, guys need a break. Okay, you know what? I know the A's have won 6 in a row now, but rest them against the A's. Or how about this? When you have Zach Wheeler on the hill, coming off a performance that he had where, yes, maybe, we're saying it again, maybe he's finally figured it out. Maybe give the guys a break then. Maybe they didn't give him a break then. When you have an actual starting pitcher out there, maybe you can afford to take some hits in other spots. No pun intended. Maybe that's where Brandon Marsh gets a day off. And Brandon Marsh, I referenced this earlier in the season when he was getting rested against left-handed pitchers. He hasn't been as good this year as he's been in the past against left-handed pitching. 240 is what he's hitting so far in the season. But Bryson Stott's hitting lefties just fine. Doesn't make any sense to me. You're already hamstrung. You're already going into this game far below the standard in which you can play, certainly far below the standard in which you have been playing of winning 7 of your last 8 games. Now you've won 7 of your last 9. But you go out there and you can't even get anything close to your best foot forward against a team like the Diamondbacks, who are, I think, now 4.5 games up on the LA Dodgers, 4 games up on the LA Dodgers. So you're all excited about beating the Dodgers, and now you go face a team that's better than the Dodgers, a team that's already taken 2 or 3 from you on the season in your home stadium, and you decide, all right, not only are we going to go with a bullpen game, we're going to rest 3 of our regulars. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. It's a bold strategy. So Phillies are at it again tonight, 9:40 start time. So for those on the Jacob Media YouTube channel, you guys can see me late again. I'll tuck you in at night again. I'll tuck you in. You guys can check me out there after the game. Zach Wheeler gets the start for the Phillies. We'll get into more details of that in the morning rush. Let's get into this Bradley Beal conversation for a second here, shall we? This is the quote. This is off USA Today. I stole this from them, so thank you, USA Today. But this is from Bill Simmons on the podcast for The Ringer, talking about the odds. So I wanted to give you the whole context here because this is not a report. This is just his opinion. But he says, my odds-on favorite is Philadelphia to land Bradley Beal. And I don't even think it's close. Beal and Joel Embiid, they're friends. Embiid is trying to get him, or was trying to get him 2 years ago, which I kept telling people on this podcast. They ended up going with Harden instead. Embiid was pushing hard for Beal. Harden is going to leave. Now, that's a report. If you're Philly and you're going to lose Harden, and now I have this shooter that's probably a better fit with Embiid anyway, then I guess you do the deal. The deal involves Tobias Harris. It involves picks. You rid yourself of the Tobias Harris money, and you take on 3 years or 4 years of the Bradley Beal money, which escalates quickly to, it's already over what Tobias Harris is getting. There's a lot of intrigue surrounding this deal for Bradley Beal. I just don't know what you're getting from Bradley Beal, and I'm tired of looking at guys, whether that be Ben Simmons or James Harden, and thinking, what do they have left? Are they motivated? Will they be motivated? Will they be a good scorer on this team? Because Bradley Beal's a scorer. 1.5 3-pointers per game over the last couple of years. 30% 3-point percentage, shooting about 5 or 6 a game. That's volume. That's volume without a big return on that investment. I don't know what you're getting at this point. And then you're also looking pretty small. I mean, Tyrese Maxey isn't exactly 7 foot. Okay, he's not exactly Dirk. And then you have a 6'4" guard, shooting guard, playing with him in Bradley Beal in this hypothetical. Bradley Beal was drafted 3rd overall the year Anthony Davis was drafted. That's the same year Mo Harkless got drafted by the 76ers. Okay, that's where we're at right now. 10-year NBA veteran, hasn't played in more than 60 games since the 2018-2019 season. I don't want to run it back with James Harden. I'd almost try anything else at this point. But if you're going to be ridding yourself of the Tobias Harris deal, which you're just about to get out of, and then you can have a lot more flexibility at the end of this year, I am more at a point where I am more inclined to just move on from Tobias Harris after this year. And people will say, well, you're not going to get anything for him. Yeah. In your mind, what are you getting for him? Are you getting Bradley Beal? Do you actually think you're going to get Bradley Beal? Because if I'm the Wizards, the only attraction to that is I am relieving myself of 3 other years of a big contract. And that's a plus for a lot of teams. The Wizards supposedly are a team that want to blow it up and kind of start all over again. They kind of have already, but, whatever. With a little bit more cap flexibility, that would help them a great deal. So that would be the attraction in the deal. I want to have confidence in this deal because when Bradley Beal is on top of his game, I really enjoy watching him play. When you're talking about a guy that can score 30 points a night, now he wouldn't do that in this offense with Joel Embiid, obviously, and Tyrese Maxey, but the biggest attraction for me is that it's not James Harden. Up there in terms of pros, in terms of why I would like this move, it's not James Harden. It's a shooting guard that can score next to Tyrese Maxey and a guy that can shoot if he's open with Joel Embiid maybe taking more of a role, but not solely a role of facilitator. Yes, kind of like Joker, where he's able to kick the ball out to an open shooter and knocking it down from 3. I just hate the questions about Bradley Beal, nagging injuries, and whether or not he was motivated for his last 2-3 years there in Washington. So what brand of basketball are you going to be getting from Bradley Beal is the question. If he plays the potential, then yes, it would be a great move for the Sixers. But if he's just more of the unmotivated guy, then it's a waste. And you've locked yourself into 3-4 more years of the Tobias Harris deal. No, thank you. Depending on whether they're able to move him at the end of the deal, which I doubt they'd be able to. I don't want James Harden back. And the bigger thing that jumps out to me from the quote from Bill Simmons is that Harden is not going to be back. And he's really cemented in that. And I don't think he comes back. And we'll know in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whether or not James Harden is back in Philadelphia. But I'm ready to move on from him. Is Bradley Beal the guy you want to move on to and lock up more money down the long term when you're also going to have to sign Tyrese Maxey to this rookie deal? It's a tough call to make. But I would be happy if the Sixers, still no other option of tangible option, no real report. Like we haven't heard from Woj. We haven't heard from Windhorst about anybody that is, oh, definitely, this guy's coming to the Sixers. The Sixers are pursuing him hard. Anything like that. There's nothing out there right now that has made me go, oh, that's a difference maker. There's nobody in free agency. It has to be by trade. And so far by trade, I don't see the difference maker. I want to believe that it's Bradley Beal because I'd love for him to be the guy. And if Joel Embiid is the champion behind that, I mean, champion for the cause, not, all right, you know what I mean? If he's the guy pushing for it and he's be really happy with it, then all right, maybe they can make it work. Maybe those two guys want to play with each other. Maybe Bradley Beal, that's the move he's been waiting for. Because Russell Westbrook certainly wasn't that guy for him, even though they made the playoffs. But I don't know. I look at it and I just don't look at it as a franchise-saving move. And that's ultimately what I'm after, a franchise-saving move, a process-saving move. One more move that'll make me go, maybe this process wasn't a total failure. Because as I've always said, to this point it has been. The only thing that could save this from not being a total failure is a dynasty. All of a sudden, a dynasty shoots up. All of a sudden, Joel Embiid becomes a 3-time NBA champion. That's like the closest thing to not being a complete waste of time. So I understand the allure of the Bradley Beal deal. I'm just not all in on Bradley Beal the way some people might be. And it doesn't seem like too many people are all in on Bradley Beal. And the fact that the only people that are really gun-ho about this are people that just really don't like James Harden. So that's where I'm at right there. Yeah. How about that? Let me tell you about the great people at Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven Singer gives you that perfect price every single day. And you know what that perfect price is? Well, the jewelers are marking things way up just to mark it down a couple of bucks in front of you, making you work for it, making you negotiate, making you haggle. Steven Singer says, no. It's at the perfect price. Come in, sit down, relax. No pressure sales. And a real jewelry expert will make you feel like a real family member at the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Let me tell you about right now, Manscaped, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with their skin-safe technology that allows you to manscape with confidence and comfort. Go to Manscaped.com. Use promo code FARZY to get 20% off and free shipping. You'll love, absolutely love, ladies and gentlemen, their Platinum Package 4.0, which is their best hygiene bundle yet. It includes their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, as well as their Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and they come with that skin-safe technology. So check them out at Manscaped.com. Use promo code FARZY for 20% off and free shipping. How about the amazing people at Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You'll love their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half into Kush, and 21%. Generics to these guys are off the charts. So try Freestone Farm CBD at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. How about the amazing people at PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing on this fiber. Mullet Alvarado. What's up, Mullet Alvarado? I'm on the Farzy Show page right here. Go Sixers. What's going on? Mullet. Morning, PJ and Farzy fam. Good morning, Mullet. Go Sixers. Hello. PJ saying there at the Farzy Show, these bullpen games need to end yesterday. Also, over Harrison and Guthrie, get Cave and Hall back up here. Let's do it, baby. Mally, morning. Smoke it if you got him. April, good morning. April says, too early for emo Mark. He probably just didn't have any other clean shirts. Here's how it works, folks. Over yonder, I got about 5 shirts just on an old coat rack. I just rotate them accordingly to whatever one I grab, generally speaking. I wish I color-coded the show, so when I'm going back and looking at them, I can be like, oh, that was when I had this red shirt. It was blue shirt. Red shirt. What the hell I wrote? Red shirt. Blue shirt. Dark blue. Light blue. Linen blue. White. Stripes. And then the one shirt that looks like, what did our guy, Real Prince, call it once? What did he call it? Graph paper from geometry class. I haven't worn that one in a while. Anyway. But yeah, this is a melancholy shirt. I usually wear the gray for melancholy days, and this is a melancholy day. Especially because yesterday sucked. Weather-wise, it sucked. It's just horrible. Let's see here. Oh, April, listen to the podcast yesterday. Just wasn't the same as seeing the shenanigans. I'm chock full of shenanigans, April. You know that. Let's see. Mihai. What's up, Mihai? 2 things I hate: the baseball bullpen games and D-backs. Okay. MLB needs a 50-pitch requirement for a starter before a reliever. They could come in with the exception of an injury. Fans like starters. How about this? Exception of an injury or 5-run score in the first 50 pitches. You're out of there. I'll just make an amendment to your fictitious rule, Mihai, but I'm in support of your fictitious rule. Let's make it a real rule. 5-1, 8-7, nothing like last August. Diamondbacks are the new Niners of baseball. What? Oh, in terms of complaining. Okay. All right. That I can agree with. They were big fat crybabies is what they were. Let's jump over to the Jacob Media YouTube channel, see what's going on. Oh, my goodness. Babs. What's happened, Babs? All over the place here. Good morning to you, Babs. Bottom line, Babs was chiming in on the Phillies post-game show last night, so I appreciate that. As was Sean Gillespie, and Sean is not in the chat today. Not to call him out. I'm not chat shaming, okay? I am not. It's 2023, people. I am not chat shaming, okay? But Babs, what's up, Babs? Bottom line, they got the call right. They did. Watch the Phillies game. Laugh out loud. Where's Derek Hall? I really don't like Alec at first. Last I saw, Derek Hall was doing pretty well at. I think he was back. I think he was up to AAA. I think he was up to AAA Lehigh Valley. Progressing in the return from the thumb, which is good. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Derek Hall, show me the minors. There we go. There's the minor league stats. Derek Hall, 222, 263 batting average. He's had 9 games in this rehab assignment for the Fighting Phils, and he's got 1 home run to boot. let's go. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts here. Let's get nuts here for a second. Let's get crazy with Derek Hall. And look through some splits. Let's see if this gives me what I'm looking for here. Nope, that's not what I want. You bastard. Where is that thing with the thing and the thing? Here it is. Is that it? Nope, that's not it either. Wah, wah. For whatever reason, this doesn't want to play ball. I'm trying to get for you guys his most recent minor league stats. He was at Clearwater, and then he was at Lehigh Valley. He hit the home run at Lehigh Valley. All right. I don't know why this is taking so long, so my apologies. But I want to get Babs an answer to her beautiful question. So much for Kyle getting on fire for batting leadoff. It's not happening. Winning 5-1 is the perfect time to hit him, and for the second time, right by the lower arm and wrist wasn't a good look. Here's the other thing, and I said this last night on postgame, but I didn't say it during the show today. I should say this now. Who did Lovullo think that Strahm was? Did he think it was Greg Maddux? This is a bullpen guy, okay? Throwing 50 pitches. Well, 40 pitches. What the hell was it? What did he think? 50 pitches. Did he think he was going to be painting the corners? He's not in there because he's a bullpen pitcher for the vast majority of his career. And he's being put into the opener's role, and he's being given one more inning than he should have anyway. What do you think's going to happen here? He's not going to be the most dead-on balls accurate guy. So anyway, that pissed me off too. What? Babs says in the Jacob Media YouTube chat. It's usually Babs, Sean Gillespie, and maybe Sean Kilrain on the Jacob Media chat during this show. Post game, a little bit more lively, or a little bit more action from other people. But Babs is like, just you and me here, Farsi. There you go. Not Manscaped. Yeah, Manscaped. I'd like to see the nice deep blue shirt tonight. Babs, you got it. I'll do it for you, Babs. I'll do it for you. Thanks, everybody in the chat, both the Farsi Show and the Jacob Media chat. You guys are great as per usual. Let's get into that Phillies game tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Phillies and D-backs, 9:40 tonight. Zach Wheeler gets to start against Zach Davies. Zach Davies coming off a start against the Washington Nationals, where he allowed 2 earned runs over 6 2/3 on 5 hits. He issued 1 walk. Previous to that, he allowed 3 runs on 7 hits and 5 2/3 against the Colorado Rockies. He has had a pretty decent season to this point. He is 1-1, though. So not a lot of decisions. 1-1 with a 4.68 ERA. He gets posed by Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler looking for, wait for it, back-to-back good starts. To hell with that. Let's go with back-to-back great starts. How about we complete a no-hitter this time around there, Zachy boy? Zach Wheeler coming off his no-hit bid into the 8th inning against the Detroit Tigers, where he didn't even pick up the win. Zach Wheeler on the season, ladies and gentlemen, just 4-4 in the season with a 3.91 ERA. So he did get his ERA below the 4-run marker. He went 7 1/3, allowing 1 run on 1 hit. He did issue 1 walk and struck out 8. Let's get back-to-back great starts from Zach Wheeler tonight, huh? Let's do it. So that's where the Phillies are at right now. I know this happened over the weekend, but I got to get into this. Chad Ochocinco, said at the Devontae Smith charity game, the softball game up in Lehigh Valley that I alluded to yesterday, that he wished he could have played in Philadelphia. He wished he could have played in Philadelphia. Now, he ended up playing with a Philadelphia legend in Terrell Owens for, a year in Cincinnati? Then he went over to New England, and he played a year in New England. So I don't know what year he'd talk about. Maybe it was that year he played for New England. He was 33 years old that year. He only started 3 games. He played in 15 that season. He only caught 15 passes for 276 yards. He caught 1 touchdown that year. Maybe that's the year he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about one of his contract years where he actually would come over to Philadelphia and still be a productive wide receiver. But that would have been, let's see, 2004, you go to the Super Bowl, and Chad Johnson is still very much Chad Johnson with 1,200 yards receiving. The following year, 2005, he gets 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns, one off his career high of 10 in a season. I don't know when that year would have happened for him to start dealing in Philadelphia, but after Terrell Owens, it would have been real interesting to see how he would have performed at any point with Donovan McNabb, whether that be 2008, whether that be 2009, whenever it would have been. That would have been an interesting sight, especially in 2009. In 2009, if you remember, Donovan McNabb still very much the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. It was an 11-5 season for them. They ended up losing. I think that was the back-to-back losses to the Dallas Cowboys to end the season. One in Week 17 and then one in the first round of the playoffs. But imagine for a second that on that squad, you have Deshaun Jackson. These are your wide receivers here. You have Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, Brent Selleck is your tight end, Jason Avant, Kevin Curtis. Now, obviously, if you have Chad Ochocinco, maybe you don't have Kevin Curtis. But, man, what a roster you would have together, man. What a roster you would have together. Curtis got hurt that year, so he would have been out anyway. But, oh, my goodness gracious. What could have been? I think the Eagles were pretty scarred after the whole Terrell Owens debacle. But it did get me thinking about what could have been in the late 2010s. No, late 20-aughts. What could have been. It is something, though, whenever you see an athlete that didn't play here come through here, whether they just got signed by a Philadelphia team and it's their first time through and they're like, oh, my God, this is amazing. J.J. Redick's a guy like that kind of stands out to me that was like, this is awesome to play in a sports city where it really matters. And for Chad Johnson to see the turnout in Lehigh Valley to watch football players play softball, he says it's like nothing else. I'll just say that. I'll edit. He said it like it's like nothing else. That would have been something else, man, to watch that go down. That would have been something else. Also, some news from over the weekend I'm just getting to now. LaShawn McCoy was quoted during his press conference in Carolina, where he is now. I'm sorry, did I say LaShawn McCoy? Ugh, God, now I'm looking back at the old days. Wow, the Eagles had LaShawn McCoy and Brian Westbrook on that roster that they could have had Chad Ochocinco. Whatever. Revisionist history. But Miles Sanders was addressing the media, and he was talking about how he was underused in the Super Bowl, and he said, ask the coaches. Ask them why I'm not there anymore. Well, how about you? Because they're not going to answer for you. Why are you not here anymore? And yes, we can take a hint. He wasn't utilized enough. I had said for years, especially with Doug Peterson being here, that he wasn't used enough. And yeah, looking back at that Super Bowl, yeah, they could have used a playmaker like him, the ball in his hands a little bit more. But they opted not to do that. I don't look at Miles Sanders. I don't look at the offensive play calling in that game. I don't look at the run-to-pass ratio in that game. You know what I look at in that game? The defense not making any adjustments. So if Miles Sanders is going to drum up some, anger here in Philly for him being underutilized while he was here, and he's going to use the Super Bowl as an example of that, I don't think that's really the best way to do it. Now, other guys like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, they did the right thing. They ripped the former defensive coordinator. But I didn't look at that game and went, oh, man, I wish they used Miles more. So that was an odd thing to me. Phillies, like I said, are back at it tonight. We'll see if there's any more movement from this Bradley Beal deal as the day goes on. I'll be back with you guys for the Jacob Media Phillies postgame show after the Phillies game tonight. So I'll be back with you guys. I'll see you then. I'll be back in this seat tomorrow morning to hang out with you guys again. Thanks to everybody on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Thanks to everybody on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Thanks to our producer, our esteemed producer, Jim Hyden. PJ producing the program, doing a fine job as per usual. I'll be back with you guys tonight after the Phillies, and then tomorrow right here, same bad time, same bad YouTube channels. See you guys then. Bye.